Sussex coach Farbrace. 5 wins out of 9. What's your take on this performance here this week?
Yeah, it's a good win. We thought that this would be a tough little period, really, coming out of the T20 into the 2 championship games, and we've done well in the 2 games. So in this little period, and Northampton was going to be a tough game. They're a good side, obviously Division 1 side last year with a lot of good players, and it's a good win for us. Yeah, very good win.
It was a difficult wicket, particularly on that first day, Paul.
It was, yeah. I mean, there was plenty going on. I think in the end it's made for a good game of cricket, and that's what you want. You know, you don't want to keep having 600 play 600 and boring draws. It's quite nice actually when there's a bit going on. And the thing that I really like about it is the fact that defensive nicks carry to slip. So if your bowlers have got interest that if the ball is going to nick the edge, it carries to slip. And I think probably. It probably did a fraction too much on day 1, but I thought days 2 and 3 it's been a good pitch, and people that have shown that if they apply themselves can bat on it, and I think we've seen people apply themselves and bat well. And equally, I think if you've got the ball in the right place, you always felt probably as a keeper and slip, you're always in the game, and I think that's something that is. I think both sides would look at and say, from a bowling point of view, if your defensive nicks carry, then hopefully it's a decent pitch. But yeah, it may be a little bit too much on the first day. But look, ground staff are trying their best to produce wickets that make it for good cricket pitches, and we don't want, as I say, we don't want dull, bland cricket of 600 v 600. And I applaud them for trying something. They're keeping grass on like we are at Hove, and that's to make the ball go through and not to make the ball go sideways. And as I say, perhaps first day I did a fraction too much, but it's made for a good game.
Let's talk about individual performances, and we've got to start with Nathan McAndrew. We spoke about him last week, but 8 wickets in this match. He's only here for 2 championship games, but what a contribution he's made. Yeah, look,
he's excellent. I mean, that's the great thing about having people that come back on a yearly basis, and hopefully we can have him back again next year as well. He's been outstanding in the 2 games that he's played in. He runs in hard, he bowls his overs, he's a real competitor, and he's a great bloke to have in our dressing room, because he gives so much to the team, not just with what he does on the field. Excellent professional, fantastic professional, trains really well, sets good standards, and he's scored some vital runs in the T20 as well as bowled brilliantly. So it's nice for him that his last championship game with us for this season, he's made a really serious contribution to the team winning the game.
And we've spoken a lot this season about different players standing up at different times, but everybody seemed to stand up with the catching in this match, Paul.
Yeah, the catching's been absolutely fantastic, and they work hard. They do work hard, and they catch a lot of balls, and they practice hard, and so it's no surprise when they do hang on to them. And it's not easy catching at slip. The ball flies at you, and sometimes the ball it flies off the edge and ball swings, and you're seeing them late. But their practice is so good that it doesn't surprise me that they catch so well, really.
50 days now, you've got to wait until the next championship match, Paul. So I guess really just like to keep on playing at this stage of the season.
Yeah, you would, but also we've planned for the season being the way it is. I said to you after the T20 game, I think it might be in the Southampton, that we planned for those next 2 championship games. We've been well planned, for a long time for these 2 games, and I'm really pleased that we've performed well in the 2 games, and we can go back now to 6 T20 games and focus on those 6 games. I think probably 2 or 3 wins would probably get you a quarter final, which would be great. But our focus this year was always been about trying to get promoted from Division 2 into Division 1 for the Championship, and then T20 was about improving on what we did last year. And we've improved slightly. We've won the same amount of games we did last year, but we've won 2 games at home, and then won 1 at home last year. So we've made improvements at the T20 side. So, look, we're in a good position. The good thing is that we've had a couple of players picked up in the 100, which means that we've made an improvement as a T20 side. That's a good sign. That's a good barometer to use. And the other aspect is now that, once we've finished the 6 T20 games, we move into the 50 over comp, which is a great opportunity to use some of the players who are perhaps on the fringe of the squad, and 1 or 2 haven't had the go that they probably deserve to have had. Henry Crocombe is a great example. Henry Crocombe, along with Ari Cavalis and Sean Hunt, are 3 lads who could easily be playing first class cricket on a regular basis. Hunt has done brilliantly in this game, as he did in the last game with bat and ball, and the 3 games that he's played this year, Yorkshire at home, he performed brilliantly in a win. He's performed brilliantly in the last 2 games. So he's got his nose in front of Ari and Croaks at the moment, but they're lads that'll all come in and play in the 50 over games, and they'll be looking forward to that. And we've got a good opportunity with the 17 that we've got available to give some of the other players a good opportunity in that 50 over competition. And we're very straight with that from the start. We're not signing an overseas player in the 50 over comp, and we're going to use it to keep developing our own players, which is exciting for us as a group of coaches. but that, we've got 6 T20 games in between, and the nice thing is that we're going into those 6 games with a genuine chance of qualification for the quarter-final. And we've set ourselves up nicely, and now it's up to players to keep playing the way they're playing, and hopefully, as I say, get a quarter-final, which would be fantastic for us.
The ECB would rather we didn't ask Ollie Robinson questions about England, but so we'll ask you.
Yeah.
He's been left out of the squad for the first 2 Test matches against the West Indies. How's Ollie reacted to that, Paul?
Well, he's disappointed because obviously, he's been someone with an excellent record when he's played for England. Look, we're delighted as a club that he's not been selected because he's playing for us. And the way that he's bowled, other bowlers around the country, they must be good bowlers to being selected in front of him. And it's a simple case of England want him to keep being consistent when he plays. Well, he's been very consistent with us. The last month he's been outstanding in red ball cricket, white ball cricket. His attitude's been spot on. He's trained well. He's practiced well. He's turned games for us. As he did here in the first innings. Perhaps got off to an ordinary start, didn't quite get his line right to the left-handers, and then came back and blew them away and took 4 for and gave us a 47-run lead. So, and this morning his 2 vital wickets, clicked the game our way. If they'd have had a 50 partnership this morning and the 2 guys had actually played well, then that might have been a different matter. But he's got 2 excellent wickets for us, and he's set us up to push on to victory. So look, with international cricket, England have got a lot of good players. They've made the call in terms of who they want to pick, and there's a lot of good players in and around that England team. But his record suggests that he's a very good Test match bowler, and what he's shown us in county cricket, has been excellent. So we've got no complaints from that point of view. We don't pick the England team. That's up to Brendan and Ben to pick who they think is the right selection. And look, we all want England to do well, and I'm sure Oliver will be highly motivated to push himself back into selection again.
Are you surprised he hasn't been picked?
Look, I'm not a selector, so I don't spend too much time worrying about who England are going to pick or not going to pick. I'm like everybody else. I'm a cricket fan who wants England to do well, and I'm very I'm very patriotic when it comes to the England cricket team, England football team, England rugby team, England anything team. I want them to win. I'm frustrated by the Euros at the moment, but we're still in there. We're hanging in there, aren't we? And thanks to Jude the other night, and then Kane whacking one in with his head, we're in a good position. So look, I'm a Chelsea fan, so it's been a frustrating few months, isn't it? And we all have views and opinions on selections and players and who should play and who shouldn't play. But ultimately, the only 2 people that really matter are Ben and Brendan McCullum. And they're the 2 people who've got to pick the team, and they pick what they think's right for England to win. And it's a bit like us picking what we think is right. There's 1 or 2 in our squad, that probably feel they should be playing. That's the nature of sport and selection, and that's what decide and divide, isn't it? You make a decision, you divide opinion, and that's what keeps us all interested and keeps bringing them back to watch more games.
Just one more question, Ollie. There was an article in the National Press today in the Telegraph, and where the journalists were saying that Ollie Robinson's international career is in tatters. What do you make of that, Paul?
Look, people are entitled to write what they want, aren't they? I mean, Nick Holt is an excellent journalist. He's written a lot of good articles. I like Nick. I think he's an excellent writer. But look, he's entitled to write what he wants. And it's up to whoever the player is, whether Oliver or someone else. It's up to them to do their responding on the pitch, and show their quality on the pitch. And look, his record suggests that he's actually a very fine Test match bowler. And look, he's had a different little periods. So, a lot of sports people go through that. Borden Anderson have been through that themselves. I remember Alistair Cook going through tough periods where, the media wanted him dropped, and, various pundits were, not very complimentary about him as a person. And that's happened to Broad, that's happened to Anderson, that's happened to Cook, it happens to all sports people. And if you've got the courage to actually go out and play international sport, because it takes an awful lot of courage, the one thing that you have to put up with is the criticism that comes with it. And you have to put up with people and, be it journalists, be it pundits, whatever it might be, that they want to, get their articles read, and the article has a sensational headline that draws you into it. You read the article and you say, well, that's fine, Nick, you write what you want. And look, as I say,
is it a motivator for Ollie?
Well, different people get motivated by different things, don't we? We're all motivated by different things. Some get stung and it motivates them. Others, it's records and performances. Otherwise, it's about how much you can earn. Everyone is motivated by different things, and the ultimate thing is that he's in a good place with us. He's been fantastic with us. His attitude around us has been top class. We've got a really close-knit group of players and staff, and we all pull together, and if someone's taking a bit of stick, we all get behind them and help them out. But all I would say is what I've seen in this game is a bloke who's run in and bowled exceptionally well and bowled well. So look, as I say, selection looks after itself. Journalists can write what they like, and look, we all read it. We all have views. That's the whole point of sport, isn't it? As I say, you and I, Chelsea fans, we have a view on who should be the manager, who shouldn't be the manager. Should Pochettino stay? Should Jackson play up front? We all have them views, don't we? And it's the same in cricket. Just because it's our job, doesn't mean. What you have to remember equally is that they're human beings behind the stories as well. And I think that's the only thing that you have to be careful sometimes in the modern day, that you don't make it too personal. And I don't think Nick's article is personal. I think it's it's his view, and it's up to him to write what he wants. But there's no issue from our point of view, and Oliver will crack on and hopefully keep bowling well for us, keep winning us games of cricket, keep taking wickets, and then it's up to the selectors to decide how they want to play it.